Hello everybody, I am TipTop Gaming here today with another video. In today's video, I'm going to go over my top 5 mechanics in Standard. As many of you know, the new set, Throne of Eldraine, is coming out this fall, and with it comes the rotation of Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, Dominaria, and Core Set 2019. So now that all the mechanics that will be in Standard at one time have been revealed, let's go over the top 5 mechanics currently in Standard sets. Before I tell you what my number 5 pick is, there's some things I need to go over. I'm only going to be talking about mechanics that are on their own fun. I'm not referring to power level or how it synergizes with other cards in Standard or really anything like that for the most part. Remember, these are my opinions, and my opinions are not the right ones. They're just my opinions. Number 5. Amass. Amass is a mechanic from War of the Spark that states, put X +1/+1 counters on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. Well, this mechanic may not have left an impact on Standard or be powerful, as it is the definition of putting all your eggs in one basket. It is a really fun mechanic in my opinion. The mechanic is very gimmicky in a sliver type of way, where you start getting more and more creatures that boost your army. Having a 9/9 Death Touch, Flying, Trample, Lifelink zombie army is really fun. However, what brings it really down is the fact that simple removal can remove all the work, and even bounce spells count as a kill. And now I said I wasn't judging power. This makes it somewhat unfun to play, as if you actually try to play this deck in something like MTG Arena, it often just gets shut down immediately, so you really don't get to play it, and that's kind of what brings the mechanic down. Number 4. Explore is a mechanic from Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan that states, reveal the top card of your library. Put that card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on the creature. Then put the card back or put it in your graveyard. Overall, this mechanic is similar to Amass. However, it did see some meta gameplay in Golgari midrange and is not as easy to disrupt as Amass. It's really fun to have one or more Wild Growth Walkers that let you heal when you explore, and then drop something that explores a bunch, like Jadelight Ranger. Overall, it is a fun mechanic that when built around can be quite powerful, and that is why this mechanic is above Amass. It's easier to get a deck working with Explore, and it's harder to disrupt. So while it still has that same kind of gimmicky feel, it is clearly more powerful than Amass, so you get to actually play it more. Number 3. Surveil. Surveil is a mechanic from Guilds of Ravnica that states, look at the top card of your library. You may put it in your graveyard. Surveil is a mechanic that I love for 2 reasons. One reason is that you can either build a deck solely around it using cards like Whispering Snitch, or have it complement other decks such as a self-mill or really any deck, as it serves as card filtering and graveyard dumping. The other reason I love Surveil is that it makes you have to make smart choices and handle a lot more information that, if done right, gives you the upper hand over your opponent. In MTG Arena, this is made a lot easier as it shows you what cards you've already seen, but in a real game you have to remember, or write it down, as well as decide whether or not to keep the card or not. Overall, it leads to diverse gameplay, either as a main theme or as a supporting theme, that gives you an advantage over your opponent while being able to take the game. Number 2. Afterlife. Afterlife is a mechanic from Ravnica Allegiance that states, when this creature dies, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. This is like Surveil. It is a simple mechanic that again can either be a main deck theme or supporting one. The main theme of not caring about when your creatures die or even wanting them to die as they create more spirits is really fun. Mix this with all the Orisov cards that came with it and you get a fun but not super powerful deck. However, if you mix this with some other cards that have death triggers or the need to sacrifice, you can generate loads of value and in a way feel like you are cheating the cost, as sometimes you're in a better state with the creature dead. This happens a lot in aristocrat decks, where when a creature dies, an opponent takes damage or you heal or you benefit off of your creatures dying through other value engines. Overall, this just leads to great gameplay, either alone or with other Afterlife cards. And this is one of my favorite non-competitive decks currently. I currently have 3 decks that run not around Afterlife, but integrate it in a way that it has lots of value. Let's talk about a runner-up, Jumpstart. Jumpstart is a mechanic from Guilds of Ravnica that lets you cast instants and sorceries with Jumpstart from your graveyard by paying their mana cost and discarding a card. Then you exile the card. These at League is one of my favorites, and I love the combo of red and blue. However, due to it feeling like a slightly different version of Flashback, I decided that it wouldn't make the list, even if the mechanic works in both an Izzet deck and really any deck. Even decks such as Esper Control, at least up until recently, use Chemist's Insight, which ran a mass. Any deck running blue or red could run Jumpstart cards without it being needing other cards to support it. Jumpstart cards can work on their own, but they're better when they work with cards that work with them. So for instance, you can Jumpstart, so you can discard a card that has Jumpstart to then just keep casting these things over and over again, and it's really, really fun, and I love it. But due to it feeling kind of similar to Flashback, I decided that it wouldn't make the list. Contrary to the repeatingness and why I took Jumpstart off, my number one is Proliferate. Proliferate is a mechanic from War of the Spark that states, choose any number of permanents and or players, then give each another counter of a kind already there. This mechanic was in a set full of Planeswalkers, and that was the clear intent. However, this can do so much more. As its own deck, it's fun. With the help of the Simic Guild, it's fun. And even in other decks, it's fun. Proliferate can boost creatures, planeswalkers, lands, and even more. And one thing people forget is that it can add bad counters to opponents' permanents, like -1/-1 counters, or even counters to your opponents, like infect counters. Proliferate has been printed before, but I think with the mixture of planeswalkers and a mass, it was really fun in War of the Spark, and one of my favorite pre-releases, and overall it led to the mechanic being the most memorable one in Standard currently. I sat down to write this script, and I was like, what is number one? And the first thing that popped in my head was Proliferate, and after looking at all the mechanics, it stood there the entire time. Overall, when I first concepted this video, the mechanics actually, most of these mechanics were the 5 I was thinking of. After looking at all of them, Explore was added instead of Jumpstart, but it just really, these mechanics are memorable, and that really says something. The good mechanics are the ones you're going to remember. But tell me what you think down below. What are your top mechanics in Standard, or even of all time? Remember, my opinion is just that, my opinion. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and comment down below if you want to see more content like this. See you guys in the next one. Bye.